paradoxes that it raises. I think that's potentially more plausible. But I should stress that the agnostic atheism that I currently possess is quite unlike the one that I had maybe 4 years ago. Beforehand, it was very much the case that I essentially would have said, like, there aren't really any good reasons to think that God exists. Or at least those reasons that have been put forward, I think don't work. Now, and that is to say, I was sat on the fence because there was just no breeze. There was just no breeze to push me onto one side. I was just sat there. Now, I'm still sat on the fence. I'm still an agnostic atheist of some description. But now it's more like there are equally forceful breezes pushing in opposite directions, right? So I do think that the contingency argument for the existence of God is a strong one. I do think that certain ontological arguments, you know, if there are certain quarrels like the one we're having now, can be resolved, like is a good argument, is at least a good attempt to prove the existence of God. I think that the idea of an infinite regress probably does lead to unacceptable paradoxes. And so I would say that on its own, yes, like it's a I think there's good reason to think that there is a necessary unmoved mover. However, now the agnosticism is that that's the breeze pushing in one direction, but there's also now I've been more I've thought a lot more and a lot more deeply about the breezes that would go in the opposite direction, involving the problem of evil or divine hiddenness or animal suffering in particular, and these kinds of things. The potential paradoxes involved in a necessary being, arguments about modal fatalism, for instance, that we were just talking about, that now push me in the other direction. So on its own, yeah, I do find more plausible on a surface level the idea of a necessary unmoved mover than the idea of an infinite regress of causes.